Hello! We've had some monumental shifts in probably about the last 3 days now. Mercury and Venus have both gone into Sagittarius. Before I forget, as always, I'm doing readings, info in the description to book a reading with me. This is a really good time. I mean, it's always a good time to get a reading, but this is a really good time, I think, especially because there's so much curiosity with these energies, especially with Mercury and Sagittarius, and to be able to learn insights and to open up new horizons, new vistas of understanding and possibility in our lives. This is a really good time to learn more, just in general, and especially being a Gemini with Mercury Gemini. This energy is like bringing this out even more so over the next couple of weeks. So I still have some availability over the next couple of weeks. So hit me up in the description and we can book your reading. Anyways, yes, so Mercury and Venus are in Sagittarius. This is such a breath of fresh air. As I always say, there is no such thing as a bad energy. The last 30 days, and really where we still are as per the sun being in Scorpio, but having so much other Scorpio, Mercury, Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio, we've gone through a major transformation process, and that was important. It's necessary. Every step of the zodiac wheel is part of the journey, but we're now at least for Mercury and Venus, but I think that this is really the bulk of what we've been experiencing in a lot of ways, as per maybe intense emotions over the last 30 days, maybe even really dark emotions, maybe really negative emotions that have been difficult to handle. That has largely shifted. We still have about 3 days left of the sun in Scorpio. And I want to say it's really important to be introspective and reflective when we experience those things, and to try and understand more of the situation, more about our past, what we've experienced before, more about where we are right now and the future that we're trying to chart. It's important to never look at any kind of energy as something negative or something that we just have to like grin and bear until it's over. Sometimes definitely certain transits are difficult, and there is an element of just, okay, this is a phase, let's keep that in mind. Now let's look at the blessings. What is the silver lining here? I think a lot of people don't get to even step 2 of that, of, okay, this is a phase, but especially step 3 of like, okay, this is a phase, and also what can I make the most of with this kind of energy? So that all being said, and that's really important to have been said, Mercury and Venus in Sag is a lot more positive, optimistic. It brings out our inner child, our inner joy in a lot of ways, just because it's fire energy. And this has to do with how we interact with other people. We're more curious. That's a little bit more the Mercury and Sag, but Venus and Mercury together are just, especially being directly conjunct. And the sun is on the cusp, and it's also brought into this conjunction because it's not that far away. So there's a general spirit of ebullience, like, good. Something we didn't really cover too much directly as per the last 30 days is we had a T-square for many energies, and especially with the sun energy, for the last 30 days. And again, we're still making our way out of that. But overall, we have largely shifted out of that. So a lot of the stress and tension that we've been experiencing is not going to be as present with the next 30 days. Even though there is another T-square happening with Neptune and Mars, it's different. It's not quite as... There's not as much tension, I would say. Now, there is one thing that is really important for all of us to keep in mind, though, before we get into the other positives, because there's way also more positives to cover. But I think for where we are right now, and especially just with the mindset of the next 30 days, we want to be patient. All of this Sag energy is activating Mars retrograde in Gemini even more so. Arguably, that also was largely at play over the last 30 days because Scorpio is ruled by Mars. But in any case, there's still an element for the next, I would say, majorly the next 2 weeks, the next 3, basically the next month, of patience being necessary, not losing our cool. One of the challenges of Mercury and Sagittarius in particular, there's so many gifts. Again, I can't say it enough. There's no such thing as bad energy. But Mercury and Sagittarius is one of those energies that the ego can cloud the mind very quickly. I found it even within myself. The last couple of days has largely been laughter and fun and playfulness, and it's been really great. A lot of good communication and good thoughts and the future and insights, and it's been wonderful. But the challenging side of that is I found myself kind of like tapping my finger a little bit. It's like, okay, what's the next thing? It's like Not, yeah, in a music writing session last night, that usually is super, super fun. And it's fun. It was fun last night too. I had to consciously just like calm myself and be like, okay, chill, 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 chill. Other people have their methods. I think this is a really important thing universally for all of us, is keep in mind that everybody has their methods, their way of thinking of things. And also during this time, we all are like feeling the high octane fuel of let's move forward. And indeed, this is another note on the challenge. It's all the more tempting to try and go a million miles, infinite miles per hour after stressful time periods like we've been through. It's like, oh, cool, there's things are lightening up. Let's just move forward, but not responsibly, not cautiously. Let's just full tilt, and that we need to be mindful of. Again, this is a movement forward. The momentum is forward, positive, the future. But if we go too quickly, then we burn ourselves out. And that's a big challenge for Sagittarius energy in general, let alone with this Mars retrograde in Gemini activating that. So again, ego, just keep in mind ego. Keep in mind everyone's perspectives. I think one last thing about the challenges is just breathe and slow down also when it comes to saying things, because Mercury and Sagittarius can say things without necessarily thinking through of how is it going to be received. And even just that moment of breath and wait, let me hear that in my head. Should I really say that? Is that really what I mean? Because a lot of Mercury Sagittarius too is the communication. You're aiming for here, but you're going so quickly that you hit over here. It's like, okay, slow it down, breathe, and again, remember that it's not just your mind. It's important to factor in other people's minds. Again, how are you going to be received with the communication? It's too easy to... I've been studying Beethoven. Oh man, I've been studying Beethoven my entire life. But I've been studying Beethoven a lot recently, and he had Sun, Mercury, and Moon in Sagittarius. And again, Mercury is the main thing here. And I'm seeing it time and time again in the documentary with him, where it's like he just loses his cool and just is like, wow, why can't you just do the thing like I want you to do the thing? It's like, well, because other people, it's like the world doesn't work like that. We can't just impose our will on other people and then expect them to. For example, it's like he premiered I think 6 to 8 works in one night. It's like hours upon hours of music, and they had one rehearsal for it, and then naturally the musicians are like, this is difficult, I don't think we can do this, etc. And there's a certain part of believe, optimism. Okay, cool, that part of Sagittarius, yes, that's great. But also what is the reality of the situation? One rehearsal for 2 symphonies and a bunch of other works. It's like, okay, so that's the other last challenge, and then we'll end on the positive note. Is just focus on reality. Again, slow down, look at the structure of things, make sure things make sense in a very logical, common sense way, and you'll have the best of both worlds, and then you'll be able to access the best of all these energies, which again is fun, positivity, optimism, but not being too optimistic, because you're also focused on the realism of the situation. And I'm not trying to say douse your fires of excitement or inspiration, don't do that, but just take into account, make some thought space, some time for figuring out, okay, how does my vision, my ideal reality, etc., my future, how does it translate into concrete terms right here, right now, and in some kind of at least loose schedule for the near future. Okay, there is one more challenge that's important to keep in mind. Mars, I didn't realize that. I knew that they were square. Mars retrograde in Gemini is directly square Neptune retrograde in Pisces, as well as Jupiter retrograde. That adds to it, but I think Neptune and Mars is the main thing, but Jupiter too. I think the main thing with this square is just seek to be mindful of potentially self-undoing through negative thought or escapist thought, procrastination potentially, as well as through negative action. And of course through negative words as well. I think in general, it's just good to keep in mind, okay, where is your anger coming from? Where is your fear? Fear and anger go hand in hand, It's like Yoda said. I can't remember the exact phrase, but fear leads to anger. I think that is actually exactly what he said. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering, suffering to the dark side. Dark side could be seen as the unconscious side, the shadow side that we all struggle with and have to remember our higher selves, our better selves, our godly selves, that is in tune with the universe and love and bliss and goodness, the miracle of consciousness. So the fear here, I think, is just feeling stuck, feeling delayed. And here too is why we need to be patient. I think especially over the next 5 days or so, moon is making its way back into a new moon scenario. So here too, again, it's like certain energies, the Sagittarius, the Gemini, is like, hey, let's go forward, full speed. The moon and the sun are like, whoa, for multiple reasons. Sun's a Scorpio, moon, making its way back to the new moon, but also Mars being square Neptune. So I think that's the other thing too, is like both anger can be easily misplaced during this time because Neptune tends to create a fog. We're not quite sure. Conditions are uncertain, and ultimately there's a certain kind of faith that we need, an understanding that we may not be seeing all of the it's hard to put this into words, but all of the pieces at play for the jigsaw puzzle that we're seeking to solve. So let's not get angry at the puzzle, and let's not flip up the table or whatever. Let's take a moment and just do what we can with what we got. Things will reveal themselves as time goes on. And I think as per the rest of this year, there is a certain element of that where we're coasting a bit. A lot is happening up here because Mars is retrograding in Gemini. So we're figuring things out. We're getting ideas put into place. We're making important social connections that need to happen. But we got to be patient with it. And putting doubt into the situation is just going to make things really difficult. Because when you're feeling like, oh, maybe I'll never find this jigsaw puzzle piece, then you don't notice that it's right behind your ear or something. It's like you have to have that faith to access your way through the fog. It's really important. I think that's the main gist of it. Again, I can't say it enough though with the anger. Really make sure that your anger is not misplaced at this time. Like I was saying before, be patient. Restlessness too, be patient. You'll make your way through the fog. It's all good. And indeed, we have this kind of lantern now with all the Sagittarius energy. So that's excellent. I think one last thing for today is the moon is in Libra for this weekend. This gives a nice sextile energy to all the Sagittarius, which basically, and a grand trine too. So basically, communication with other people, as long as we're chill and as long as we're communing with people who are pretty chill, can be absolutely wonderful, very pleasant, very fun. And even if you're talking with somebody who is too much in the egos, the unconscious, the dark side of Sagittarius energy, especially Mercury and Sag, if you are calm, you can kind of get, how in conversation, it's like a dance. It's like a rhythm. In so many ways, it's like a rhythm. And if somebody's going, they're going way too fast, you don't have to stumble and also go, it's like, okay, even a little bit slower with each response, a little bit slower. All of a sudden, their mean time, their average time of frenetic, panicked activity chills out too. So be that person who stays calm, relaxed, even if other people are losing their minds. Chill. Chill, and things will chill around you. You can't control other people, but you can certainly control your part of the dance, and that makes a huge difference. It takes two to tango, as they say. As always, I'm doing readings. Info in the description. It's a great time to get a reading. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. Peace.